Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you Tuesday, January the 5th. The year is 2021. Let's talk trading. Knocked down versus knocked out, part 2 with Walmal. Before we get this video started, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and differ from Walmal's. Walmal. So, knocked down versus knocked out. As usual, we ran out of time yesterday. So,
Yeah, we did. we certainly did run out of time yesterday, that's for sure. And this is one of those topics that it touches so many different areas of trading, and it touches things in terms of making sure that you got your trading plan in place, and it touches in terms of your psychology. It touches making sure that you have a large enough account to go and do what you're trying to do. It touches all those different areas. Just talking about my trading today, I unfortunately I did something similar to what I did yesterday. I made another boo-boo, so to speak, where I went and got into a trade. Should have gotten out. Should have taken my profit when I took it. What happened was I admitted this to TRO earlier, and it just shows the humanness involved in trading. We're not machines. We're going to make mistakes. And what happened was I went into a trade that basically because I misread the chart, and I was actually up 2.5 pips, something like that. Knowing that, immediately I knew that. I should have just said, you know what, hey, that's a great day. Let's go and take the 2.5 pips and wait for the real signal, wait for really how I wanted to get in on this. But I didn't. And the next thing you know, I was down, and I had to go and trade my way out of a mess. And the thing is, I'm because I've got those things in place where I don't go and make sure I get knocked out. Yeah, I get knocked down, but because I have all those other rules in place, that's what saves my butt more times than not. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to go and do things where, it's just not good. So in this situation where, where this morning, the reality is that by the time I was all said and done, I actually traded myself out of that mess and actually had a pretty nice profit. But man, it would have been a whole lot easier, a whole lot nicer if I just went and traded the way I was supposed to trade it in the first place. But I got knocked down, and you don't give up. That's the thing. You don't give up. You just, you don't get frustrated. You don't get angry. You don't get mad, because all those things that play into emotion. And the next thing you know, it gets into your head, and you start doing silly things. So like, yeah, I made a mistake. I made a mistake by getting into that trade. I made a second mistake by not getting out of that trade when I had the opportunity to get out. Now I'm getting out with a loss. Now I got to go and trade my way out of that loss. You just got to say, you know what? I got rules in place that even cover that. And that's what we have to do. We have to go and make sure that we got, enough of a buffer around us to keep us, keep us safe.
Well, Mo, you said something that I think we need to explore. You said we're going to make mistakes. Now, there's something in programming. Usually it's like, if a program has a bug, chances are it probably has more than one bug, because
Exactly.
and it's kind of like disasters. As a prepper, I prepare, and whenever I'm out, giving talks on preparedness, I always say, disasters, they come in bunches, because it's not usually just one disaster. They like, okay, what happened? We had the pandemic, okay, and then the next thing you know, because of human decision making, we now have an economic problem, and then
Right.
we had a shortage of toilet paper, because people went out in panic with panic buying, or they were stocking up. So it wasn't just the one thing. And so when we're trading, you say mistakes are going to happen. Well, I mean, I guess there's a couple of different kind of mistakes, and one of my life rules or philosophies is that accidents can be prevented. Once you know there's a potential for an accident, you can take measures to make sure it doesn't happen, or that you minimize the probability that it can happen.
Exactly right. You want to minimize the probability of happening. I think that, it's sort of like you get into your car and you drive. you know, there's always a chance that you're going to get into a wreck. There's always that chance. You could do every single thing right, and some clown out there goes and does something silly and stupid. Next thing you know, you've been in a wreck. But what do you have in place to go and protect yourself and your family around that? Well, I have auto insurance. It covers me from a financial point of view. I have airbags in the car. I've got seat belts in the car. You know, I've got all those other things in there that try to keep me safe. But at the same time, you know, some clown could go and run a red light and coming around the corner, I could never have seen him. The next thing I get slammed to get into a wreck. But if I got all those other buffers in place, you know, I should be, you know, it's not a guarantee because nothing in this life is guaranteed, but there's a good probability that I'll be okay on the other side of it. You know, that's the only thing you can go and do.
Yeah.
But I do like your analogy about like what happened in 2020, you know, and this whole idea that, you know, they do come in bunches, you know, and like what you just said, you know, we had the pandemic show up, and then after we had the pandemic show up, people freaked out, you know, and they started buying toilet paper and this and that and everything else. Then we have the economic crisis that's jumped on top of that. But here's a question for you. Did you run out of toilet paper?
No.
Did I run out of toilet paper? No. Why? Because I, at all times, have got enough toilet paper that I can go, call me prepper, call me whatever you want to call me, but I got enough toilet paper to take care of me and my family for the next 6 months, you know, and so that all that meant was that we went for a roll of toilet paper, and I'm in the store, and I happen to see a roll of toilet paper, and they're not price gouging. I bought it, you know, and it's just, and that way I just kept on keeping my stock up. I never went below 10 or 15% of my supply.
Yeah.
Well, trading's got to be similar to that.
Okay, I got a question for you, Walmal. Now, you said you made a mistake, that you read the chart wrong, and you got in a trade and you were up a couple of pips. Now, you recognized you made a mistake. What's the reason you didn't just get out? Because let's just say you made a mistake and you were down. What keeps you in that? What kept you in that trade?
I was stupid. I'm just gonna put it right out there. I was stupid, you know. You know, and what the stupid part of it was is I got distracted. I got into the trade, and what happened was that I got into the trade, realized I made the wrong trade, started flipping through charts to say, hey, is there a possibility this is a good trade or a bad trade? And I should never have done that. You know, I was actually up 2.5 pips. If I would have just, you know, just jumped out, I would have made 2.5 pips. But because I was then at that point being silly and ridiculous, looking for a reason to be in the trade. I'm in the trade. Why am I looking for a reason to be in the trade? I'm in the trade. You know, I went into the trade for a wrong reason. Okay, I'm up 2.5 pips. The price came to a dead halt. It stopped. You know, I've said this over and over again. One of my main reasons to get out of the trade is if the price is going up and I'm in all along and it goes up and then it stops and a one ball shows up on the top of it off your 3ZZ, that is a rule for me to get out.
Hey, we just hit 90. Just to let you know. You called that.
Yeah, I see that. And the thing is, that's a rule for me to get out. But because I was not looking at the chart and paying attention to what was going on with price, I didn't do that. Next thing I know, I turn around and look, and I'm down 7 pips, 8 pips, and it's falling. You know, and so now I hit the, you know, and that was another mistake I made because when I got into the trade, you know, generally speaking, what I do is I go into the trade and then I go and set my stop loss. It's just quicker to do it that way for me, you know, but because I realized what I'd done and I was flipping through charts, I never even set my stop loss. You know, and now I'm in a panic. Okay, I got to get out of this trade before I go and do something ridiculous here. And so I went and hit the stop. You know, I hit the exit on it. And next thing you know, I think I lost, you know, somewhere between 10 and 12 pips on that trade because I did, you know, another mistake. And so, like what you were saying with, you know, this idea of just they come in bunches. Mistake, 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 accident, 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 problem, problem, problem. And that's what happened to me. And I just, you know, next thing you know, I'm down 10 to 12 pips. You know, so now I got to trade my way out of that mess. You know, so now I got to think, if I'm down 12 pips and my goal is to make 10 pips per day, that means now I got to go and make 22 pips to get to get to where I'm supposed to be for the end of the day. My job just became twice as hard, all because of a bunch or a slew of mistakes, one after the other. And, I know there'll be somebody out there, they'll go and say in the comments, oh, guys, you got to be better than that. How could you go and do that? That's so ridiculous. I would never do that. Yeah, right. We all do it, okay? I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
Put it out there right now. End the comment. We all do it.
Yeah, I want to tell the boys and girls and fellow traders how a mistake sometimes is not doing something, and Walmal and I were analyzing charts and looking for trades, and I noticed I put my cursor right here, and if you notice all those wicks, price went below that line and came above it, and I had it actually, it was right around 63. I can't seem to get the cursor to go there right this second. Right here, 63. And price went down, went through 63, ran up, and then came back down and gave me a chance this hour to get in at 63, and I didn't take it. Well, you can see where price is now. So sometimes not getting into a trade is a mistake. That's just, it cost you an opportunity. Now, you could say that's hairy hindsight, but, everything we do in trading is like, okay, we pick a spot where we're going to enter, and if you don't enter, that's on you. It's just not only that, there was a second entry here at the 70. Well, that would have been worth over 20 pips too, to take that entry. So it's just not errors of commission. It's sometimes errors of omission where you didn't do something, like you didn't set your stop loss, or you didn't look at whatever it is you're supposed to look at. You didn't make sure that your lot size was properly. You didn't have the right account and profile. I mean, there's a number of things that you can not do that cause you just as many problems as pushing the button and doing something.
You're exactly right, because, like I said earlier, I was down 12 pips. Well, I could have gone and continued making mistakes. My next mistake would have been not going and taking trades, or, and not taking the opportunities, because, I got lucky. I'll admit that, but luck that was based on some statistical evidence, and I took two trades, and those two trades went and took me to where I needed to be, and both those trades I got a lot of pips on them. I got 10 plus pips on both those trades, and then since then I've taken another trade where I got like 8 pips on it. But what would have happened if I just froze up, closed the books? I hadn't gone and violated my rule of no more than 3 losses in a row. I hadn't violated my rule of having more than 5 losses per day. I didn't violate any of those rules in my rule book. And what if I just closed the books and said, you know what, I'm giving up for the day? Well, that would have been just as bad, because instead of being down, I wouldn't have been up. When I am now, I would still be down those 12 pips, and that's just not a good place to be.
Yeah. So if you notice on my chart now, I've got the cursor at 3606, and if you look to the left, you can see that's the open of a big bearish bar that occurred yesterday. And it's also right around the highest open of today. And you know how we talk about the holo trades, and something, Walmal, the fastest 15 minutes in trading is up again. So I guess we'll revisit this topic another day or two, knocked down versus knocked out. So fellow traders, I hope maybe you got a tidbit that you can use to make sure you don't get knocked out, and maybe you don't even get knocked down again. But chances are you will get knocked down, so just don't get knocked out, because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. And this is TheRumpledOne, over and out.